Ohio law banning foreign nationals from contributing money to ballot initiatives.
Plus, Florida is cleaning up after Hurricane Milton.
And in sports, the high school football season is in full swing with another week of big matchups. We have a preview of tonight's key battles on the gridiron. Newswatch starts right now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Allison Patton.
And I'm Alex Mwali. Welcome to Newswatch.
You are now taking a live look outside the Convocation Center, and you might want to take a look at the sky tonight. We may get a glimpse of the northern lights here in our region.
The area of visibility cuts right through the southern part of Ohio. It's been a fairly active year for solar storms. Because of them, Southeast Ohio has gotten many chances to see the northern lights this year. You're looking at photos taken by Ohio University meteorology students from last night. If you missed the opportunity, tonight may be your chance to see the Aurora Borealis yourself.
They're hard to see with the naked eye, but you can view the lights through your phone camera. Emily, will the sky be clear for us to see the lights tonight?
Yes, well, fortunately, the sky will be clear, and that is due to high pressure. Now, the northern lights are due to a solar flare. We're currently in solar cycle number 25 of those flares, so that is why it's a very active year for them. Now, this graphic shows the solar flares from last night. Obviously, we reached a peak of 8, and the highest you can go is a peak of 9. And this really just allowed us to see the lights all the way down in southern Ohio. Currently, it is 69 degrees under clear skies. That is really just due to this high pressure that is sitting over most of the eastern part of the United States. And we do have a pretty big cold front across the north central plains, and that will be impacting us later this weekend. Temperatures, though, over the past 24 hours, we're on the cooler side last night and this morning. We started to heat up as the sun rose, and we're going to be cooling back down again tonight due to that high pressure not trapping in any of the heat. Currently, tonight, 46 for that overnight low and clear skies, which again, this will be perfect viewing conditions for the northern lights if you missed it last night. 40 tomorrow, partly sunny skies, the high of 77 and that low of 55. Looking at our weekend, Saturday, partly sunny, 77, that low of 55. Sunday, we do have a 60% chance of showers, but still a high of 82. As that low pressure, though, moves through our area, we're going to be cooling down into Monday.
It's Friday night once again, and that means high school football. Now, there's a lot of high-stakes matchups to take a look at tonight, but I'll go ahead and name a few. The Ironmen are getting ready to face an FAC face-off. Implications are the name of the game tonight, so let's take a look.
Right, let's start off with the Eastern Eagles and the Trimble Tomcats. That's right, they will be duking it out to see who's in the driver's seat of the TVC Hawking. The Eagles lost to Waterford a couple of weeks ago, so the Tomcats and the Wildcats are both undefeated in conference. If Eastern loses, they're most likely out of the conference race, but a win would set the stage for a potential three-way tie. In the past, this has been a gutsy game, and tonight will be no different.
Different game, same story. The Unioto Shermans and the Zane Trace Pioneers will also be playing for control of the conference, the SVC. This one should be interesting to see because of their play styles. The Shermans love the air attack, while the Pioneers tend to run the ball. With that being said, this will still be a highly competitive game.
Next up are the Bloom Carroll Bulldogs and the Bishop Hartley Hawks. And for these two, it's all about the playoffs. A win here would likely put the Hawks in the postseason, while a win for the Bulldogs would mean a 50-50 shot for 2 home playoff games. Both of these squads are powerhouses, so they're sure to put on a show you're not going to want to miss.
If you head over to the SOC, we've got another must-see Wheelsburg and Waverly. The Pirates had an intense schedule leading up to the conference play, but now they're on a 3-game win streak, and they want to keep that streak going. They're going to have to find a way to contain the Tigers' dangerous quarterback and wide receiver duo. This will be a measuring stick game for both of these squads, and it will give an insight on how the SOC will shake out.
Okay, last but not least, we have Gridiron Glory's game of the week. The Miami Trace Panthers and the Jackson Ironmen. The Ironmen have been historically dominant in this matchup, but the Panthers have also been having one of their best seasons since 2005. Both squads have numerous offensive weapons as well as tough defenses. So this should be a very competitive matchup because they both have assets that they want to approach, and they approach their opponents very differently.
And for a full breakdown of these games and conference standings and more, make sure to tune in to Gridiron Glory tonight at 11:30 p.m. East Palestine residents can still claim injury payments despite the full settlement on hold. This comes after a disastrous train derailed last year. Now the $600 million Norfolk Southern settlement is on hold due to an appeal. Officials say provisions of the deal will allow residents to claim their payments, while the appeal challenges the adequacy and fairness of the settlement. It's unclear how much of the settlement fund will go to injury payments.
A federal appeals court upheld an Ohio law banning green card holders from donating to campaigns. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit ruled in a 2-1 decision in favor of House Bill 1. The law includes green card holders who are lawful permanent residents in the definition of foreign nationals in the Ohio Revised Code, which prevents them from contributing to campaigns and ballot initiatives in Ohio. Opponents say House Bill 1 violates Ohio's lawful permanent residents' First Amendment rights. The case still needs to be heard by the full circuit court. Coming up, what the Biden administration is saying in response to the Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton.
And the United Nations says residents of northern Gaza are at risk of starvation, why officials say food isn't entering the region.
We've been having clear skies this week. Will this weather continue throughout the weekend? Find out more when Newswatch returns.
In the 20th century, young Latino activists fought for their civil liberties.
Who said we've had enough of racism and abuse.
When people fight and begin to win, that changes consciousness.
I had this anger inside of me, but I never knew what to do with it until I learned how to organize. Sí, se puede.
Here's the thing. The more you push our people down, the more we rise up.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
You can't have the United States without the histories of all of the Latino communities.
Connection to culture is so important.
I move and feel in my traditions and my stories.
We do what we love with respect and loyalty.
We have changed U.S. history.
Sí, se puede.
That is beautiful.
So much anticipation.
My heart's beating.
This is a breakthrough moment, and it won't be the last.
This is the moment we've been waiting for. Oh, you cute thing.
We are finding ferociously active worlds throughout the solar system.
This is the first time that anyone has seen this text in 2,000 years.
Wednesday on WOUB.
The Cartober fundraising drive is on. Help give back this month by donating your used car, truck, RV, or boat to our station. Donating is easy and it's tax deductible. Just call this toll-free number, schedule your free pickup, we'll tow it and give you a donation receipt. Can't donate a car? Spread the word by telling your friends or family. Learn more by calling this toll-free number or visiting us online.
Good evening, Athens. This morning, gorgeous morning, clear skies. On the cooler side, so my morning walk, a little bit chilly, had to wear a sweatshirt. We can see not a lot of clouds over top of Ohio, and that is due to this high pressure system that's dominating most of the eastern part of the U.S. We do have a giant cold front stretching across north central plains, and that will be impacting us later this weekend. Right now, though, we're currently sitting at temperature 69, clear skies, a few clouds, but again, not a lot due to that high pressure system. 46 tonight for that overnight low in clear skies. So just reiterating again, if you didn't get a chance to see the northern lights last night, there's a chance to see them again tonight. And due to this high pressure and clear skies, it'll allow us to see them perfectly. Now, sometimes they are a little bit hard to see. So again, If you use your camera on your phone, that is a little bit better. Tomorrow, though, partly sunny skies as a low pressure system starts to move into the area just a little bit. 77 for that high and 55 for that low. Tomorrow, looking at our surface analysis, we have a stationary front stretching across the central part of Ohio, and that's really going to just keep temperatures pretty much the same, but allow us for a chance of precipitation. Tomorrow night, again, that stationary front pretty much just sitting over top of Columbus. We do have this high pressure to our south. Sunday, though, that low pressure system that we saw out west going to be moving over and impacting us and going to be giving us a chance of rain for Sunday, as well as a cold front. Now, looking at our 7-day outlook, Saturday, partly sunny skies with a high of 77. Sunday, 60% chance of showers. And again, that's due to that low pressure system that's going to be making its way over top of Ohio. A lot of that rain occurring some in the showers before 2 p.m. and then there's a chance of thunderstorms from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. With that cold front, we are going to be seeing a pretty dramatic cold front with that low pressure system. So on Monday, mostly cloudy with only a high of 59 and that low of 35. Tuesday, we're going to be seeing some high pressure settle back into our region, which is going to be giving us mostly sunny skies and a high of 55 and that low of 33. Now the National Weather Service has issued or put us in a region where there might be some frost for that night. So if you have any plants that you care about dearly, make sure you just cover them up or put them inside so they're warmer. Wednesday, mostly sunny with a high of 59 and a low of 35. And Thursday, mostly sunny with a high of 66. So we're going to be cooling up a little bit more as next week progresses. And then Friday, sunny skies with a high of 68 and a low of 41.
Thanks, Emily. Floridians are starting to pick up the pieces in the wake of two major hurricanes. Hurricane Milton made landfall in Florida Wednesday night, less than 3 weeks after Hurricane Helene. Milton brought heavy rain and flooding, as well as an outbreak of deadly tornadoes. President Joe Biden provided an update on the devastation people are facing in the wake of Helene and Milton.
It's obvious, I'm sure you feel the same way. Our heart goes out to all those folks who've lost not only personal property, but their homes, and some lost lives.
Biden says he spoke to people from North Carolina down to Florida in the past 3 days. Authorities say the death toll is expected to rise as search, rescue, and recovery efforts continue, while utility workers try to restore power.
States across much of the Southeast are starting to clean up efforts after Hurricanes Helene and Milton. Maribel Gonzalez has more.
Double destruction in the Sunshine State.
I think the complicating factor here is going to be there's two storms.
Hurricane Helene made landfall in Florida as a deadly Category 4 hurricane, carving a 500-mile path of destruction across 6 states. Then Milton hit as a Category 3 storm, bringing tornadoes, torrential rain, and storm surge.
And having 2 major hurricanes in less than 3 weeks has really decimated our downtown area.
In Valrico, Hillsborough County deputies are still evacuating people from flooded homes.
We're at 6 feet deep. We have some people who believe that it might get as high as 20 feet.
In Pinellas County, hundreds remain in shelters, some who've been there for weeks.
We have over 170 people that have actually been in shelters with us since Hurricane Helene.
The rescues and relief pouring in.
Our available force represents the largest National Guard response in Florida.
We have an additional $50 million on top of what we did for Hurricane Helene.
FEMA says people will need to apply for separate hurricane relief for each storm.
We're just going to have to continue to work with each person as they're working through understanding what they experienced from Helene, what they experienced from Milton, so they can get everything that they're eligible for.
While victims assess the damage left behind, moments of hope and resilience begin to emerge.
We had a beautiful baby girl that was born in one of our shelters. Our shelter staff helped with the delivery.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
And for many, it's difficult to distinguish where the damage from Hurricane Helene ends and where the devastation from Hurricane Milton begins. The long road to recovery has only just begun.
There are less than 4 weeks left before Election Day, and the battleground sprint is about to kick into gear. Karen Kaifa is at the White House with a big look at the political names hitting the trail and the campaign roadmap ahead.
Every vote counts, but voters in 2024's key battleground states can expect a little more attention between now and November 5th.
Thank you, Pennsylvania.
The candidates are becoming more frequent flyers to Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, zeroing in on the issues they feel will resonate most with each state's voters, like the economy and manufacturing in Michigan.
We will ensure that the next generation of breakthroughs, from advanced batteries to electric vehicles, are not only invented but built right here.
I intend for the triumph of the American auto industry to be among my greatest legacies. I want it to be a legacy.
And immigration in Arizona.
We ought to focus on our own people and put their interests first. That's what the American leadership exists for.
This issue should not divide us, it should unite us.
And getting help from high-profile allies like former President Barack Obama's first campaign stop for Vice President Kamala Harris in Pittsburgh Thursday.
She doesn't have concepts for a plan. She has an actual plan to make your life better.
On Wednesday, former President Donald Trump said no to another debate with Harris before Election Day. That means no more head-to-head events.
We don't have a tentpole event between now and the end, between now and the finish line.
And leaves candidates to put their ground games to the test.
To get the latest on the presidential election and other key races, you can head to our website, woub.org. Then on election night, join us live at 11:30 p.m. for a special report as we cover the results as they come in. The United Nations says no food has entered northern Gaza since October 1st, putting 1 million people at risk of starving. The World Food Program says Israeli military action has forced it to stop distributing food parcels. It's not that food is not available. The WFP says 100,000 tons of food aid is positioned in various corridors, such as in Ashdod, Egypt, and Jordan. That's enough to feed over 1 million people for 5 months, but most of it is prevented from going in by the closure of crossing points and disruption to transport routes.
A federal appeals court judge denied Sean Diddy Combs' request to be immediately released from jail. The judge cited concerns about witness tampering, physical violence, and Combs' ability to flee the country. The original case judge also denied Combs bail. Combs pled guilty to sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and prostitution-related charges. He is currently awaiting trial and is being detained in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Combs' trial is set for May 5th. Up next, a warning for parents as Fisher-Price makes a product recall.
Still ahead, a convenience store chain is closing hundreds of stores across the U.S.
Let's start at the beginning, shall we? I can't wait.
Back in the game, bringing the thunder, I'm making waves.
People will be watching your every move.
I can handle it. Let's go.
So, what's your secret?
Things are starting to move in the right direction.
Tell us everything.
Are you ready for more? Just getting started. Locked on the target. Are you ready for more? No one is going to tell me who I can or can't be. Troubles, honey? Like you wouldn't believe. Hop in. Every day, I see the evidence of all that love can do.
Whatever happens, we'll be together.
There's nowhere else in the world I'd rather be. This was perfect.
Our unit, 1st Battalion, 5th Marines, in a 5-month period, we had 17 Marines that were killed. I was trying to figure out, well, what could I do? I should do a carving of a battlefield cross. I need to do them for the rest of the families now.
Being a Gold Star father, it's a club that no one wants to belong to. It means I got a big hole in my chest.
This will keep people remembering these guys long after we're all gone.
Make peace or die. Honor the Fallen on PBS and the PBS app.
The October 7th attacks and a year of unprecedented violence told by Israelis and Palestinians.
זה בלתי נתפס, זה הדבר הכי נורא שיכול לקרות לאמא.
انت ما بتتخيلي كيف شعورها، لكن هيك مشت الامور.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
Looking to save some money? Good news. Inflation rates hit a new low for the first time in over 3 years. The latest Bureau of Labor Statistics report says the consumer price index was 2.4% for the year ending in September. That's less of a cool down than economists were expecting, but they say it's still headed in the right direction. The core CPI measurement was expected to be tricky for the month due to shelter inflation and a temporary price hike for things like insurance, housing, and vehicles. Another key economic gauge shows inflation is slowing. The Producer Price Index, which measures average price changes for producers and manufacturers, rose 1.8% for the year. This is slightly lower than August's index. The annual rate is still higher than the 1.6% level economists expected. This index is often seen as a good indicator for price increases consumers will pay down the line. The inflation in the U.S. has slowed considerably since peaking in the summer of 2022.
It's a sad day for Slurpee lovers. The 7-Eleven convenience store chain is closing hundreds of locations across North America. The company says it is closing 444 stores that were underperforming or facing issues like slowing sales, fewer cigarette purchases, and inflation. The move only affects about 3% of 7-Eleven stores, although it is unclear which locations will be closing. The chain has more than 13,000 stores across the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Fisher-Price is recalling more than 2 million baby swings because of risk of suffocation. 5 babies died on the Fisher-Price Snugga swings between 2012 and 2022, according to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. In most of the cases, the infants who died were unrestrained and bedding materials were added to the product. If you have one, you should remove the headrest and body support insert from the seat pad before continuing to use the swing for your baby. Fisher-Price is also offering a $25 refund to consumers who do make those modifications.
There are many dangers COVID-19 can pose to a person, but a new study suggests the virus can have a significant impact on heart and brain health for years after infection. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither takes a look at the data.
In 2020, before vaccines were available, people who caught COVID-19 had twice the risk of a major cardiovascular problem like heart attack or stroke as those who didn't test positive, according to a new study.
What was also surprising is that the extent of that risk did not show any sign of diminishing or attenuation with time.
Dr. Stanley Hazen with Cleveland Clinic is co-senior study author. He says those risks and medical records studied stayed up to 3 years after infection, and those who had been hospitalized with severe illness from the virus were at even greater risk for heart problems.
That is, if similar to the risk of someone who had one heart attack and what their risk for having a second heart attack was.
Hazen says the risk also varied on blood type. Researchers say people with certain non-O blood types like A or B are already at higher risk of cardiovascular diseases, but the study found those with O-type blood who were hospitalized for COVID didn't have quite as high of a risk of heart attack or stroke. While the study did not look at the effects of vaccination on cardiovascular risk, Hazen says since the severity of the COVID-19 infection is linked to long-term cardiac risk, getting protected from COVID-19 through vaccination is critical.
If you have had COVID, I suggest think about heart disease and getting your cholesterol checked and your blood pressure checked.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A rise in fake online pharmacies has experts concerned for customer safety. The Drug Enforcement Agency issued a public safety report about illegal outlets selling fake or counterfeit medications. Agents say these typically foreign companies usually have generic names like pharmacystoresonline.com or orderpainkillersonline.com. Experts say drugs sold from these websites are often not from reputable pharmaceutical giants, but rather from drug traffickers. Taking these products could be harmful or possibly fatal.
Still ahead, a man is tired of throwing out jack-o'-lanterns, so he created permanent pumpkins.
This year, Gridiron is back and better than ever with our 25th season. I'm your host, Haley Hollinger.
And I'm your digital host, Donovan Varney. Throughout the week, make sure to tune into our Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and YouTube for game preview segments on the pregame huddle. If you still can't get enough high school football, check out our Instagram and TikTok for more weekly content.
And of course, we'll see you right here every Friday night at 11:30 p.m. because there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
From the beginning, then.
I saw the ghost!
You have any proof of that? Something terrifying has happened.
Very promising.
So what have you got for us? We have a bit of a mystery.
I have to finish this.
So what have you ladies been up to today?
Ready, go!
We're preparing for district now.
This is what I wait for We the People. I'm the type of person, I'm not nervous, I got this, until I'm in the hot seat.
You're gonna have to give them the impression that you know what you're talking about.
Guys, I'm actively peeing my pants right now.
The judges caught some of the units off guard.
The judiciary placed a large...
It's a lot of pressure.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
There have always been those of us looking for stories that keep us alive.
You're born to this world to make a difference.
This is about building systems that will save lives.
Ya solo ese pasto se está acabando. Es una especie en peligro de extinción.
No one is the same. Everybody is so unique.
Jack-o'-lanterns can be fun to make, but they eventually rot and need to be thrown out. But a Connecticut man has a solution. Christopher Chernicky makes what he calls forever jack-o'-lanterns out of helium and propane tanks. He's already made over 200 tanks to sell at community events and craft fairs. Chernicky's favorite part, seeing them around the community.
Most enjoyment I get out of it is driving around town and seeing the actual jack-o'-lanterns on people's porches, because I know that's my work.
Chernicky says people are amazed he took something hazardous and made it beautiful. The propane tanks are priced at $45 and helium tanks are $20.
A Wisconsin man took an annual tradition and made it to die for. Jimmy Zamzow is celebrating 25 years of his Holy Hill skeleton display with a twist. This year, the theme is Skullview High's 40th reunion, modeled after Zamzow's own high school reunion this year. Zamzow graduated from Waukesha North in 1984, and some of the skeletons are inspired by his former classmates. While the display changes every year, there are some staples like the Rainbow Bridge people can put pictures of their pets who passed away on. Now, I'll tell you guys what, I don't know if anyone from my high school is watching this, but if so, and you think about doing this, you can leave me out. I really don't need to be in anyone's yard as a skeleton, I think.
Right, same, yeah.
But hey, let's take a look at this forecast. So maybe, will that skeleton be seen in rain, or if it was done here in Athens, if anyone's thinking that, what would we see on the weather?
Yeah, well, fortunately, we're under high pressure, so not a lot of rain or no rain at all. And that's a good thing for us to see the northern lights or a shot at them like last night. We're going to be cooling down a little bit into tonight, but looking at our 7-day outlook, Saturday, partly sunny skies, 77. Sunday, we are going to be seeing a chance of rain.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks so much for watching.
Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Have a great night.